coming, I
The
guess.
other, the other people are
The
slackers.
other people are either slackers or traveling.
Yeah, probably traveling.
Any injury updates?
No.
Pete, you've gotten a lot of game balls in your day. I'm curious, when Gino handed you that game ball last night, how different was that? What was that feeling?
Yeah, I don't have that many game balls. I got a few. Interesting. A couple of them were the first games, and back all the way back to the Jets. That one I still really like. But it was good. It was nice. Nice recognition from G and the fellas.
What do you like most about your second half defense?
Well, I think we picked up from the first half. We played solid the whole game, but we played better, and I thought Pat really adjusted well to what was going on in the game. If you notice, they threw the ball quite a bit, and he adjusted quickly and put us in good positions for rushing and for covering and changing up and disguising and things like that that really worked out for us. And it was a really good surge. You could feel the surge on defense. It kind of changed the complexion of the game. The first drive of the second half was obviously part of that, but we responded well. I'm talking about for the offense, but we responded really well. And what that showed again to me is that the guys were really comfortable playing in a tight game. At halftime, they weren't flustered about whatever score or nothing. They were tuned in and very determined to finish well, and that's what it felt like we did.
With Landon going down, can you just talk about being stout in the run defense and also giving a lot of disguises? Can you talk about what Jamal Adams and Tommy Eichenberg were able to contribute once he went down within that linebacker room?
Yeah, well, Tommy was the one that had to answer the call because he came. Jamal was in and out of the game anyway. As we were rotating him through, I thought Tommy did a really good job of jumping out there, communicating, doing right, picking up. And not letting that be a factor. Jamal played a nice game too. He was active and moving around. But I really credit Tommy with coming off the bench, and it's hard to do that and play as actively as he did. So it was really really good.
What did you think about Caillou Kelly and the performance he had in his first game?
He did a nice job. He got challenged. They went after him and. They throw the ball a lot to the split inside, and he wound up over there, and he had some challenges. I thought that I totally disagreed with the PI on the play. I thought it was a heck of a play that he made, and he was on guys the whole time. He tackled well and supported well out of the secondary and the secondary contained situations. When the ball bounces to the corner, he was there. I thought he played a really nice game.
Switch flip for him. It seemed like in the middle of training camp, all of a sudden he just.
I don't know. We haven't really nailed that one, what it was, but there was a shift. And coming out of the offseason, I didn't see it coming, and I didn't see it because he was kind of bouncing around different spots a little bit of nickel and all that. But it was about now probably 3 weeks ago, that there was some clarity here. Something's happening, and there's rumblings coming on where 36 was playing, and so we just gave him more chances. Didn't we start him in the third preseason game? Yeah, that was in response to how he had picked it up to see what he'd look like, and he's just done a really really good job. He's using his overall sense and experience that he has, and just ball sense. And I say that because it's an aspect of us as a growing defense that we really kind of out leverage the offense, and you make good decisions when the ball's breaking and when the ball goes away from you, how you pursue and all of that. And that containment aspect is what gives you a chance to minimize big plays. And he has a really good sense for that. And so that kind of jumped up in my observations, and Joey thought the same thing. And so we've gone with it, and maybe he'll be back competing again this week.
Gino targeted, I believe, 8 different receivers yesterday. What can you say about the balance of the offense yesterday and how much that helped you throughout the game?
Yeah, well, that's not been a problem for Gino over the years. He's never just gone to one guy or the other guy. And he's always just taken what the offense gives you, and I think that was a good example of it. Somebody said, was this a breakout game for him? Yeah, it wasn't at all. That's how Gino plays. 70%, 300 and something, whatever. That's how he plays, and he'll have bigger games, and going forward. So, but we really liked the way he played, and I think he was like 13 for 15 or something in the second half, and he was a little tight, you know, and and you could tell, you know, when he was moving around, he had a little tightness in his hammy or something, and he was fine. He was fine, and he was just on it, and it was a great finish for him too.
Coach, I know you have a whole week ahead of you, but what kind of confidence did yesterday's win give you going into Monday night at home?
I think that's a really good observation because that's what I observed. I think that was a good thought. We played really solid throughout the whole game. We were right in it, mentality-wise, competitively, situations, communications. We were poised, and you know, for a first-time team coming out and taking their first shot, and the starters are playing the whole game, you know, you had to find out, and it was a really good first step. A really good first step for us. And there's so many areas to get better and improve on. But that mentality that they carried into the game and carried throughout the game, remember I made comments after the Seattle game that we stayed connected through the next one, and then we stayed connected and it carried over. And we were better yesterday than we were at any point in any of the preseason games. So they do feel good. They do feel good about it, and they know that they can play, and they know that we've got guys that can make big plays and make big hits and come through and make big catches and runs, and the Cube's going to do what he's been doing. You know, I mean, all of that has to come to light, and yesterday was really valuable for us in that regard.
Talk about areas of improvement. What are some things that you believe that you can see from your interior offensive line that you think could ease Ashton or really make that run game come alive moving forward?
Yeah, we need to be more accurate with our calls in the targeting. The timing of the working together, the double teams, and you know when you can come off double teams and go to the next level. That takes some time to. The guys haven't played very much together. You know, we haven't in real games, and so. The games helped us some. The practice against the Niners helped us some. But these games will help us get better. And also Ashton was he was hyped. You know, he was jacked up, and he would tell you, I would think that, you know, he wished he would have been a little more patient on some reads and things like that will come. He didn't look like that in preseason. This game, you know, being out there and being called on to play, you know, carried the ball, you know, 19 times or whatever. It was a little bit different for him, and he'll play way better. He'll see things more clearly, and I know he's a little frustrated by that.
Is there a certain timeline when you expect to know something about Brock and his knee and E-Rob and his elbow?
No, really, we're just going day to day. Those guys are tough guys now. They're not going to, you know, take the easy way out on this one. They're all going to push to get right. I like that we have, you know, these 3 days right now are really crucial. The day off today, tomorrow's workouts, and then and what becomes like the Tuesday day off for us. They'll be really crucial for us. And I know the Chargers have that going, you know, even more so than the break they have. But this will really help us and give us a chance.
Speaking of confidence, what did the interception do for the defense? Did you kind of notice them get any more hyped up or any more confident off of that interception?
Well, they celebrated a little bit. I was glad to see that we didn't. Our celebration was a little shaky in preseason, but you know, you got to get around it. We had so many chances. The ball was up. Did you guys see the play for Max? You know, I don't know about that one now. Jeez. You know, we called timeout just to give him more time to look at it, and because we couldn't throw the flag in the 2-minute time frame, but. You know, the ball was bouncing around pretty nice, and we missed the fumble recovery on the other one. I thought Max had a really good game. He was really active. He was all over the place. Run game, pass game, pursuit, pass rush. He got doubled the whole time, and just kept bringing it, and it made things happen for us. So it was really nice.
What do you think about the game that Deon White had?
Yeah, he was a hammer. No, he hit it. He looked good. I was really excited that his presence was so obvious. You know, he's had a couple of years where his game hasn't been at that level that he played at yesterday, and so he's just getting going. And he had fun playing. He handled a lot of communications, and he hit the heck out of it. You know, and so that was really encouraging. Really fired up for him.
He seems like one of those guys when he's smiling, laughing, and he's on a high, and he'll play at a certain level. He's kind of a roller coaster player, but he gets those really big plays when he's on that high.
Yeah, I had not really since after the first 3 or 4 weeks he was with us. You know, I didn't know him very well, didn't understand him, but since he kind of tapped in with us, you know, and he had to kind of feel his way because he'd been kicked around a little bit in other places, and it hadn't worked out right. But once he started to feel the rhythm of it, I think yesterday was just a continuation of what's been happening. And he and E-Rob have been communicating on a great level, and he's helping our guys out with his calls and his experience. And he has a really good sense for the game. He's a real natural football player. And so he's going to keep getting better.
Pete, you've talked about confidence. You can only gain confidence by getting confident, by being thrown in those situations. I'm curious from the defensive point of view, it felt like the D-line really was ramping up as the game got going, which complemented the young guys in the secondary, and it felt like it was all rolling. I'm curious, your vantage point, is that how you saw it, and how does that translate as the season goes on?
Yeah, I think we did a really nice job on third downs, and got a lot of good short yardage play too, and forced fourth down attempts and stuff, and all of that added to. There were some successes in there. We didn't get the ball as much as we needed to and intend to, but the guys really felt it. They could feel what was happening. They could feel the game shifting. And they elevated as that occurred, and that's about finishing, and getting in the finish mode. And the guys really continued to improve as the game went on, And I thought we played out the last 6 minutes of the game well, and we're in good command of what was happening, and they were having fun. It was fun. It was a fun finish because you could see this is our game to win. On defense, and just don't let them score, and we got it. And so we give up 3 points right at the very end there in the second half. That's a great showing for those guys, and it does really. There's no doubt it adds to your confidence, and we got to we'll grow. If we're going to be really effective, we're going to have to develop the mentality that does go along with being confident.
I know they missed the field goal at the end of the first half, your team, but the way that they were able to have the attention to detail and hurry up and get an actual attempt off for Daniel Carlson, what do you think about just the process?
We've been working really hard at that. You guys don't see that in our practices. We do a lot of that in walkthroughs and all, but we worked really hard at that. That felt very normal, and that was just like how we do it. And unfortunately, it was what was it, 58 or something? Yeah. So we'd like to get another 6 or 8 yards out of that thing. So that's a very difficult attempt, but the way they handled it was really well done. Yeah, and I'm proud that we've worked hard to get there. We were working on this stuff all the way back in the springtime, so that was very normal for them.
Very well said. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So